we'll be looking at issues that happened yesterday. To my far right is Paul Sawa. Paul, thank you for being here today.
It's always a pleasure being here.
Right. And to my immediate left is Esther Ibanga, Pastor Esther Ibanga. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. They are members of the Enough is Enough group who wanted to see the president. You know, they tried sometime last week, but they met human barricades. And yesterday was also no different, if you ask me. So what's your experience like, Ibanga?
Well, it was quite interesting, and I guess I expected the barricade, but let me start by saying it's the movement yesterday, or the march yesterday, was made up of a coalition of civil society organizations, one of which is Enough is Enough. There are many other, the Red Card movement, and so on and so forth. I expected the barricade, but I am hoping that we have made a statement, because we spent some time at the Federal Ministry of Finance. We demanded to see the Attorney General of
Justice.
Justice, yes, I beg your pardon. We were not able to see him. We proceeded to the House of Assembly and then to Aso Rock Villa. However, we made our statements at the gates, and we are not giving up. We are going to try again, and we're going to march again until we gain audience with the people we're supposed to talk to.
Now, were you expecting that you wouldn't be given the opportunity to air your views to the #1 citizen, talking about the president, when you got to the presidential gate?
Oh, absolutely. And even if the president did not come out himself to speak to us, I expect that the vice president or a representative of the president should come out and see us. We are citizens of this nation, and this is a democratic society. We have every right as citizens of this nation to see the man we appointed to work for us. And so when we ask to see him, he should come out and see us. Yes, absolutely. The office of the citizen is the most important office in this country, and we have to get to a time where people in government do realize that they are put there by the citizens, and they must get down from their high horses. They are not gods, they are Nigerians like us. We are Nigerians like them. We are citizens. We have concerns. Our voices must be heard. So we're going to make that demand until they know the right thing to do, and they do it.
Okay, Mr. Sawyer, could I quickly ask, before you went out as a group, a coalition of civil society organizations yesterday to have that match, was there any form of, other methods that you tried to use to get the attention of the president or the vice president?
The most popular method used by Nigerians today is social media activism, and without a doubt, you find Nigerians express themselves very, very, very lucidly, using social media. And like my sister just mentioned, this was a coalition of groups, I, for example, represent Citizens for Order, Peace, and Sustainability. I know They, I saw him there, my very, very focused brother. He's with the Concerned Nigerians movement. Yemi, of my sister, Yemi, of Enough is Enough, was there. Abiodun of, that's another sister of mine, Abiodun of Nigeria Mourns was there. Charlie Boy, Mumu Dondu, in his wheelchair, was there. And these are people who have each one, and this is just, I saw the Justice Must Prevail movement, I saw indications of them there, and this is just a sprinkling of the groups represented there. each one of these groups, in their various fora, have been screaming as loudly as they could. There would have been no need. We would have preferred that there would be no need to march. But when it appears that all your pleas and all your cries are falling on deaf ears, when it appears like that which not just us, but Nigerians across the board, of all religious persuasions, of all ethnicities, are crying out for some form of reprieve, for some sense in this nonsense that the security situation has become. You know, how much clearer do we need to speak? How much clearer? So yes, we had articulated in various fora and in various ways this simple message. I can speak for myself, and I can also say that there is, if you looked at that group, you know, it was a motley group of distinct individuals and movements that share a common purpose. You look at, for example, Charlie Boy. We all know, I mean, this is a man who was in a wheelchair. You know that he's in recovery. But that is how concerned he was. You know, Charlie Boy is not from Zamfara, or from Sokoto, or from Adamawa, or from Plateau. But he was there. He was there. Aisha Yasufu, my sister, you know, has been at the forefront and very involved in this entire situation. You know, Aisha is a Muslim. I am Christian. She's a pastor. You know, this was just, I would say, a microcosm of Nigeria. You know, and Nigerians crying out. What better opportunity for leaders who claim they are concerned for this nation? When you meet a group of people, and what sort of people are we talking about? We're talking about CEOs. These were not just, you have the young people that were, of course, a part of the mix. You can't do anything without them. But the people here were responsible people that I am extremely proud to have even identified with. You know, and they all came out. They dropped people from Benue, from Lagos, from Kaduna, from Nasarawa, from Plateau, you know, coming in. Because anybody who doesn't recognize that we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder now must be living in another planet.
That's how. Let me cut you short here. Now, what exactly are your demands? Because you cannot come out in that, you know, magnitude and not have a strong message for the government.
The issue is this: insanity has been defined as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
That's the height of insanity.
That's the height. No, the height is where you redouble your efforts
in
doing the same thing. In doing the same thing. It's clear that either the methodology is ineffectual, and you know what is most painful is when you look at the quality of personnel that this nation boasts of. There are people that we see daily. There's this very young, vibrant captain. He's on channels. The name is just slipping me. Ahmed. Is it Ahmed? No, Captain. It'll come to mind. It'll come to mind. He's a security expert. This is somebody who daily decimates the situation in very articulate terms. The sort of terms that a concerned Nigerian hears and he says, okay, this is clearly going somewhere. Captain Aliyu Umar. Captain Aliyu Umar. Retired. You know? I mean, these are, you wonder. We have a bevy of security experts that should be consulted. This is not partisan. I am not a member of PDP. I am not a member of APC. I'm not a member of any political party. My attraction to this movement was particularly when I saw the Enough is Enough slogan of non-partisan. I said, aha, this is Nigeria. You know, and that was my concern. I am concerned about a society degenerating. We have long crossed the line that Rwanda crossed when it fell apart. It is miraculous. It is miraculous that we are still a cohesive unit. And if nobody sees it, I do. And so many others do too. So many others do too. And that is why we will continue to scream ourselves hoarse. Okay. Now the issue is this. Yes. You asked particularly about
what are
demands.
Yes.
Now the demands are quite simple. For me, if it's not working, rejig it. And that's talking about even personnel. When I look at, if I give an example of the recent plateau situation, you know, what has happened concerning that, you know, when on social media I was able to receive information, like everybody did, that certain communities were being encircled by militia. Not a shot had been fired. This information was out. And this happens consistently.
Okay,
and then yet, there is no response. So my point is this, one of two things. Okay. Rejig, and what I mean rejig is somebody needs to go. Okay. Somebody needs to go.
Need to be replaced.
We need confidence restored in the security system. There is something very, very questionable going on. It's either high-level collusion or gross incompetence.
All right, I'm sorry, you have to hold your thoughts there. Let's play the clip of the Enough is Enough protest that happened yesterday, and we'll come back to talk some more. Please stay.
It was a peaceful protest when PTV arrived at the scene, unlike the last time when the protesters tried to force their way through the police team. There was no shoving and pushing this time, but security operatives in their numbers were bent on stopping the protesters from gaining access to the road leading to the presidential villa. The protesters had to resort to chanting slogans, even though the president, Shavila, was not within earshot.
We must rise. Every Nigerian must rise and demand accountability from our government. We say enough is enough of this thing.
They are not convinced that the president was doing enough to stop the killings in some parts of the country.
Every Nigerian that has been killed must be counted and named. We're tired of numbers being thrown out there. They must be dignified. We must dignify the Nigerian life. Every day, the government must count and name them. The IDPs that we have today, how many are there? How many have been displaced in all these places that attacks have happened? People have had to run away from their villages. Villages and towns are being taken over by these terrorists that have come from nowhere, and the government is not doing anything. And we're saying that the government must go on and secure and retake the lands that have been taken away from communities that have been taken away from people.
Their demand was for the arrest and prosecution of people behind the spate of killings.
We have the military that is supposed to protect the territorial integrity of our nation. Why are invaders coming to this country to kill us? Are we at war? What has the military done? Is it that we cannot defend ourselves against external aggression?
Nigerians would prefer, that is why we are here, we would prefer the security forces to take charge of these issues. But it's becoming increasingly apparent that they are either unwilling or unable to do so. And so the situation we want to avoid is where Nigerians will be forced to resort to self-help, because that is what will precipitate anarchy.
Like the previous protesters, the presidency has yet to make a direct reaction to the response to their demand. But there have been more police and military presence in Plateau and Benue states in recent weeks.
All right, that was the protest that happened yesterday. Ibanga, what you were there yesterday, and I saw you talking with a whole lot of passion. What do you expect the government to be doing at this point?
What I expect the government to do is what they have not done. First of all, there have been so many killings, and I just want to agree with my sister Aisha that we want names, not just numbers, to acknowledge the people that have been killed. We want information. Who are these people coming to kill us? Are they the Fulani headsmen? If they are not, are they militia from Libya? Tell us categorically. And if they are coming into Nigeria to kill us, why? We want some answers. We have a right to know. Why are we being killed? And then we also want to know, like my brother just mentioned, is it that the military is incompetent or they are stopped from defending us? We want, there are so many questions that need answers. So we want, the first thing we want the government to do, stop the killings. We're tired of waking up every single day and hearing of a Nigerian killed somewhere. If it's not Sokoto, it's Taraba. If it's not Taraba, it's Benue. If it's not Benue, it's Plateau. There is too much bloodshed. The land is defiled. We cannot be blessed as a result of that. Stop the killings first and foremost. Secure our borders. Protect Nigerian citizens. That's what I want to see the government do. I want to see the president truly come out and show empathy with Nigerians.
Well, the president a few days ago was in Ekiti. A few days ago. That was 2 days ago. Was in Ekiti, for the APC governorship rally, and he said that he's been blackmailed, by some Nigerians, based on the fact that the killings are still ongoing and all of that. He said he has been bastardized and all. Do you subscribe to his position?
I do not. I agree that there's a lot of politicking going on, and I'm not interested because politicians basically don't care about anybody but themselves. Before the president came on board, we had issue with insecurity in this country. When Jonathan was the president, we had Boko Haram. And he said when he came on board that he would deal with it within 2 months. So if he had dealt with it within those 2 months, he won't be talking about politicians blackmailing him today. Because we not only have the problem of insecurity, but it's gotten worse. In Jonathan's era, I had personal issues with insecurity, and I had personal issues against the government of Jonathan for the impunity exhibited at the plundering of the resources of this nation. But in the regime of President Buhari, what we're having is impunity at killings. It's a much more serious problem. He cannot keep on throwing the buck, blaming politicians, blaming blackmail, blaming this, blaming that. He's the C in C, the buck stops on his table. He must take responsibility for his office. It's no use blaming somebody else. So I'm sorry, but I'm not buying that.
Sawa, are you aware that we have over 53,000 security personnel in Ekiti states? And then some other parts of the country, just for a governorship election coming up on Saturday, over 53,000. We have 30,000 policemen. We have 19,000 plus civil defense. We have over 4,000 Nigerian army, all posted into Ekiti state. How would you react to this vis-a-vis the killings across the country?
From A to Z, from Adamawa to Zamfara, it's been carnage. Unfortunate Nigerians have just been falling like 9 pins, one after the other. You know, the proof of desire is pursuit. What you desire, you pursue. It is evident what the president desires, because that is where he has deployed his strength and his interests.
Absolutely.
You know, we're through with shop talk. Like I said to you, sir, I am a Nigerian. It's inconsequential to me who falls, as long as, I mean, the persuasion or the ethnicity of who falls. That's inconsequential to me. My concern is that they are Nigerians, you know, and it's extremely disturbing if I claim that because I'm a Christian, I'm comfortable in most areas in Jos. The challenge is this. Will I not pass through Bauchi one day on my way to Adamawa and through Gombe? I've talked about driving as a child when my mother, a woman with children in the vehicle, would leave Plateau State, would leave Jos for Mubi. We would stop in the bush in Gombe and have a little picnic, enjoy our meal, with no fear of anything. With no fear of anything. Where has this, what happened?
Dare not do
What
that
happened?
now.
Now, you have the primary responsibility of our commander-in-chief, not complainer-in-chief. We have his primary responsibility is to secure life and property. Nigerians are very ingenious, very hardworking, and very forgiving. But what's happening is I am noticing that we are tending more towards divisiveness. And this is coming directly as a result of what is perceived as, you know, glaring injustice. Glaring injustice. Yeah. And what you're seeing right now is, as far as Mr. President has shown us, he's more concerned about the next elections than the next generation. That is what I have seen with that deployment in Ekiti, as opposed to Zamfara, Sokoto, Adamawa, Benue.
Plateau.
A plateau. Another issue I would even mention, an issue that people seem to be skirting around, I know some civil society had mentioned this some time back, is the issue of that security vote. Non-budgetary. This is huge, a huge amount. You know, when I saw figures like $670 million being bandied, and then you look at the policemen that stopped us yesterday, when I looked at them, there was one I looked at who, I mean, is a grandfather. I remember when some of the protesters offered them water. Of course they couldn't take it. But these men had been out there for as long as we were, performing their duty that they've signed up to perform. Now, my displeasure is this. That security vote that slips into the governor's pocket for campaign funding, as far as we know. Why can't that be routed through legitimate processes, through the budget? And we route it towards areas of education. Where you have a lack of proper education, that alone is a security issue.
Right, Sawa, I may have to cut you short here because of want of time. Let me ask my final question. Ibanga, what's the way forward?
The way forward, for me, it may sound very simple, but I think our leaders need to come out and be sincere. Sincerity is lacking on all fronts, you know, and we deserve, Nigerians deserve truth. They deserve sincerity of purpose from the government. The way forward is come out and tell us sincerely what exactly are the issues, the way forward. And I also want, some people have been arrested, we read in the papers, who carried out the genocidal attack in Plateau State. We want to see justice administered. We want to see perpetrators of this evil brought to justice. Not just them. We want to see their sponsors named, because an average local village man or Fulani man does not have anything apart from his stick. So where are they getting the AK-47 from? Where are they getting it from? They are definitely being empowered by some persons. We want to know who those people are. And I truly believe that we have the wherewithal in our systems and our agencies to provide these answers to Nigerians. Nigerians deserve these answers. We're demanding for it. That is the only way forward. And politicians must stop playing the religious and the ethnic game. You're not going to do it again. They've always done it to rule and, you know, to divide and rule by playing the ethnic and religious card. Nigerians know better. That's why we're coming out, Christians, Muslims, in Plateau State. When the indigenes were being killed, it was an imam that hid some of the villagers in his mosque and told the marauders that they must kill him first before they... You see, that is the picture of the new Nigeria. And that's what we want to see. It has nothing to do with whether you're a Christian or a Muslim, or whether you're from my tribe or your tribe. As long as you are a Nigerian, the Constitution affords us every right. There's no Nigerian that is more Nigerian than another Nigerian.
Very correct.
So this is what we want to see.
All right, Sarah.
Sorry, I'm speaking so...
Yeah.
This thing is
Yeah,
just,
I can see all of the passion and all that. Yeah, Sarah, in 30 seconds, what's the way forward for you? In 30 seconds.
If you know justice, if there is justice, if you know justice, you will know peace. Know as in K-N-O-W. If there is no justice, there will be no peace.
Very, very salient and straight. I want to say a big thank you, for finding our time to be here this morning. Ibanga, you've been so outspoken with a lot of passion. I feel your pulse this morning. Sarah, you've been on fire, and we hope that the government will listen, to your group and also ensure that they do the needful. Thank you so very much for coming.
Thank you.